Alright guys, working on the Vulcan, the Kawasaki Vulcan 900 custom. Putting new tires new tires on it. Usually get about anywhere from 8 to 10,000 miles on the rear tire. What I like to do when I pull the rear wheel off and get the new tires on, I just go ahead and check everything out. I usually take my pulley off here. By the way, this here pulley is it's one of them oversized pulleys. I think it's a Scott, called a Scott's or something like that, pulley that I added on here to bring the RPMs down a little bit on the Vulcan, which they do help quite a bit. I did also did the front sprocket up there with the I think it's an oversized pulley. It's either oversized or undersized. I can't remember which one, but anyways, I did both pulleys on there to help lower the RPMs on these. Let's say you're running 70, 75. It does bring them RPMs down there where your motor's not running as hard. It makes a big difference. Some guys go with a little bit bigger, a little bit taller tire or something here on the back to help improve to bring your RPMs down on one of these, because with the factory setup, it seems like they rev pretty hard when you're cruising about 70, 75 on the highway. It seems like it seemed like to me it was revving awful hard. I guess they're designed for it, but I like the less RPMs myself, and plus it helps on your fuel mileage a little bit, I'm guessing, because you're not revving as hard at them speeds. But anyways, back to the video here on what I was getting, what I do on this after I have the rear tire changed out. I go ahead and pull the pulley off here, and these here bolts, when you put your pulley back on, if you take your pulley off, you don't necessarily need to pull that pulley off unless you're going to do what I'm doing here, which is greasing these bearings. I check these bearings out because you got 3 bearings in the rear wheel. The torque spec on this here to put your nuts back on your rear pulley is 44 foot-pounds, and then your rear axle nut is 90 foot-pounds when you put your rear axle on there. Anyways, guys, what I do is take this here, just take this pulley off, and see if I can get that off there with one hand. Might not be able to. Yeah, there it comes off. And then you got them little washers there that are up there on that. I go ahead and set this down. The rear pulley. And also that pulley, guys, they don't come polished like that. If you order one of those, what I did is I ended up polishing it. Makes it look a little bit nicer there, setting on the rear wheel. But anyways, guys, I pull this hub. You may have to, when you pull this, sometimes them hubs are stuck in there pretty good. So if you need to, just put your, before you pull your pulley off, just go ahead and pull this up out with the pulley, because sometimes these stick in there pretty good and you can't get them out of them rubber pieces there. Anyways, guys, what I do, I check these bearings out, and what I like to do is just get in there and roll them around a little bit and make sure there's no play in them, and just kind of move them around and see if there's any, if it feels a little bit rough. If the bearing feels a little bit rough, you want to go ahead and replace them bearings. These bearings here feel real good yet. because what I do is I shoot a little grease in there every time I change my tires out. I just go ahead and take my grease needler right here, guys, and work it in there so you don't tear your, try not to tear your, that rubber seal, and work it down in there the best you can until you can get it to go down inside the bearing itself. Just kind of work around a little bit, and eventually, if you can work that down in there, which it's being a little difficult for me now since there it goes. There, I got it in there. So what I do is work that grease needler in there and shoot a little bit of grease till I start seeing it come out here around the edges. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull that grease needler out and move this around a little bit to get that, to spread that grease around in them bearings. And then I'll go ahead and I'll hit it again. So I do like 2 times on that. And then I move it around, you know, make sure that you get that grease circulated around them bearings in there. That way you get a lot more life out of your bearings there, guys, on your wheels. So like I said, I got 38,000 miles on this bike, and I still got the original wheel bearings in it, and they still, all of them feel real good, even the front there. I'm going to do the front too. And then just, you know, make sure you remember how everything goes back together there. If not, get on, what I do sometimes if I have a problem trying to figure out what goes where, I'll get on like, I think Babbitt's, called Babbitt's Power Sports or something like that. And then they got, you go into your motorcycle area, look up your model year and your motorcycle, like if it's a classic or a custom or whatever bike you got, and you want to, it will give you a good printout of each area of like this rear wheel hub. It will show where everything goes. So if you have an issue of forgetting where some of the stuff goes, because you got you know, you got 3 different spacers here on the back wheel, and then you got that brake your bracket for your brake goes up in there. If you forget how that goes in, you can look that up on I get on it's called Babbitt's Power Sports, and they got a really detailed prints of you know, where everything goes as far as that goes. So just you know, it helps out your bearings there, guys, to put a little grease in them, because that grease eventually, you know, it works out there, especially if you do quite a bit of riding in the rain, or you know, you do a lot of washing on your bike or whatever. It will eventually, that grease will eventually work its way out of there. And I'm going to set you down here, guys, and then you also just go ahead and flip your wheel around here. And now on this side here, guys, like the front, I'm probably going to try to get this, what I'll do is I'll get this seal, work this seal up out of here, and that way I can get into that bearing there. And the same with my front wheel too. Them both got, it's a good idea, guys. Go ahead and order you a set of seals if you're going to do that. That way, if you do ruin your seal, you'll have a backup set of seals to put in there in case you do mess them seals up. And then also I go ahead and order, I did order a set of bearings for the front and the rear, just in case these were bad, so I could get this thing back together real quick. But that way I got them ready to go. for whenever I change the tires out, and then I feel that the bearings need changed. That way I already got the set and ready to go. That way you're not spending a bunch of downtime, especially if you're doing this in the summertime. If you're doing this in the winter, then it's not a big deal. You know, you can order your parts whenever, but I like to try to keep anything that I tear apart that I think I might need, I just go ahead and order it. That way if something, you know, if a seal gets tore or there is a bad bearing in there, I already got that on hand. I can throw it in there and get this bike back up and back on the road. So that's the way I always do stuff. So, but anyways, guys, thought I'd throw that video out there. Like I said, you grease these, put a little grease in them bearings, guys, you'll get a whole lot more life out of them seal bearings. Just try to, when you put that grease needle in there, just try not to tear your tear that rubber seal when you do it. That way, you know, it keeps the grease in there and stuff. But not too bad, not too difficult to do there, guys, on that. As far as I didn't make a video of taking this wheel off. I may make a video of putting the wheel back in. I don't know, it's kind of time consuming, and a lot of people don't like to sit there and watch a whole video for a half hour or whatever. But anyways, guys, I thought I'd throw that video out there for you on doing your greasing up your bearings on your motorcycles. Same with the front here. I'll do the same with it. Pull these seals, try to get these seals out of here without tearing them or anything, and then go ahead and grease them. You know, on the front wheel, there's only 2 bearings in the front wheel. Your rear wheel on these here, you got 3 bearings in there that you need to grease. So, and then like I said in that other video, it's a good time to check your brake pads out. Make sure your brake pads are in good shape yet. Rears on these are pretty good yet, so we're pretty much good to go on them brake pads. So, all right, guys, that'll wrap this video up on the greasing your wheel bearings on your motorcycle.